Welcome to Fear No Evil, where the evil that I speak about is child sexual abuse, where Psalms 23 is my foundational scripture, that's what I'm building on, and where the Lord is my shepherd 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And if someone has a problem with that statement, I'm sorry that you do. I wanted to make a correction. I said that when people coddle child sexual abuse survivors, that they're making them more disabled. I couldn't find the right word. It's not just because you're a child sexual abuse survivor, that doesn't make you disabled for the rest of your life. Even if you have PTSD, that doesn't mean that you have the symptoms of PTSD for the rest of your life. And this is where the psychological community gets it so wrong. A survivor can be triggered. They can have the symptoms of PTSD as they are processing that trigger. But once they integrate the memory into their life, PTSD goes away. There are a lot of child sexual abuse survivors who don't take medication. At the same time, there are a lot of sexual abuse survivors who do take medication. And I'm not about to say whether you should or whether you shouldn't. That is up to the survivor themselves. Because some of the feelings and the emotions and the memories that people go through are horrendous. I think that child sexual abuse survivors are the strongest people on this earth. Nobody knows what we endure but another child sexual abuse survivor. And I know that they are strong. But I also know that when people don't have the support that they need, many of them commit suicide. Even though the Me Too movement is talking about child sexual abuse, they're not talking about how many people commit suicide. They're not talking about how many people are unable to gather the skills in childhood so that they can become successful as adults. At the same time, we also have a lot of adults and a lot of children who are child sexual abuse survivors who are also very successful. They get great jobs. They do great work in society. I believe that all child sexual abuse survivors who are on the path of healing. See, not all are on the path of healing. Some are on the path of repeating the abuse that was done to them. That's how you get pedophiles. That's how you get child molesters. That's how you get them. Because not many pedophiles are non-child sexual abuse survivors. All these little tidbits of facts that go with child sexual abuse, you have to understand every single fact and then link them all up together. They have it so disorganized because of a political agenda that it's disgusting to me. And that's why I continue to speak out. Because even with the LGBT, even with the New York State, with Governor Cuomo including the Child Victims Act into the budget proposal, it's not passed yet. It hasn't been passed yet. And they keep blaming the Republicans. This is not a Democrat or a Republican thing. So the fact that the Democrats are sitting there going, we can't get it passed because the Republicans won't let us. Really? Why didn't you say something? Just because you proposed it in a bill, if you really are behind it, it's your words that are going to put it into action. When you propose something, I would suggest that you're saying something to someone. You're putting some words, some oomph behind what you believe. And we got survivors everywhere cheering. They didn't pass it yet. It's not time to cheer yet. I don't really care if they just put it in the budget. Can we get it passed so that survivors have an avenue to the law? But are we going to continue to do this public opinion stuff that we're seeing with the Me Too movement? That's not helping survivors. We need a day in court, and we need the law to change so that survivors can have that day. I don't want the public deciding whether someone's a pedophile or a molester. They don't even understand homosexuality. They don't even understand child sexual abuse. What makes you think that they're going to understand whether somebody molested somebody or not? They run off their stereotypes. But I'm sorry, I'm regressing. Let me go back to what I was saying. Survivors, when they get triggered and don't have the tools, I don't care where you are in society. I don't care if you're the janitor. I don't care if you're the little 5-year-old in the class. I don't care if you're the CEO of a company, the priest in the Catholic Church, the pastor in the Protestant church. I don't care what title you hold in life. When child sexual abuse survivors get triggered and they do not have the tools because no one bothered to teach them or to have enough compassion to listen to them and hear their stories, they're out on their own. And all this stuff that's going on in society is going to trigger some of them. And although the LGBT wants to stand there and say, we're not child sexual abuse survivors, how are you going to be part of the Me Too movement, but at the same time deny that you're also sexual abuse survivors and that your homosexuality might be connected to the child sexual abuse? This is all just crazy to me. Just crazy. And it really needs to end. Because children are really, really suffering from child sexual abuse.